Hello, how you doing? James here. I hope you guys doing well. Well, I got something to show you from what happened over there in Israel, and this is deep, and this is coming from an Israeli soldier. But afterwards, I'm going to show you a couple of videos what happened, and it's going to show back up what the one commentator was saying on his video. But I'm going to take you right to the video.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back. I'm Jake the Muslim Metaphysician. Hope everyone is doing well, as I've been saying, as well as we can be during a time like this. Please keep Palestine and the Palestinian people in your du'as. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless and preserve their faith, their iman, and may He rectify their affairs and destroy the oppressors and the tyrants. And we'll see an example of the type of tyrants that are guilty of occupation and murder and indiscriminate slaughter. It's absolutely terrible. So this video is not going to be something that people will enjoy, but nevertheless it has to be shown because it's not going to be shown on Western media platforms. And so I'm trying to do the best that I can with the little bit of a platform that I have to be able to share this with people, and hopefully that you guys will share it with others. So anyway, let me share my screen here. It's going to be a very short stream, guys, so as opposed to the long one that we've done recently. This is only 1 minute and 26 seconds long. This is basically a short discussion between two Israeli IDF soldiers and this guy. I'm not sure who he is. I just saw this video on social media and thought it would be something that really needs to be shown because, you know, some people in the West think, oh, well, you know, Hamas targets civilians, but Israel and the IDF, they don't target civilians. They don't want to kill non-combatants. That's not their intention. And, you know, when they bomb hospitals and when they bomb churches and when they bomb mosques and when they bomb, as recent as bombing refugee camps, oh, it's just because they're trying to kill the terrorists. They don't actually, you know, indiscriminately and intentionally kill civilians. No, they would never do that. The holy IDF, they would never even think of doing something like that, or would they? Okay, so what we're going to see here is right from their own mouth, from soldiers that are today in the military admitting that they intentionally murder innocent non-combatants, civilian Palestinian people, and they want to kill and murder all of them. So let me start and just play the clip for you guys. Oh, and by the way, just viewer discretion advised. The Israeli soldier is such a scumbag. He uses filthy language a little bit throughout the video, so I apologize for that in advance.
Where are you from? I'm from Israel. Are you an IDF soldier?
Yes, I am.
Didn't the IDF, they bombed Gaza and they killed hundreds of children?
I don't know about this, okay? I just know that we bombed them because they bombed us, okay? And
what about that?
So he starts off by saying, where are you from? Well, I'm from Israel. I'm an Israeli soldier in the IDF. The guy says, well, you know, hasn't Israel been bombing people? Well, yeah, but that's only because they bombed us. And even though they've been bombing Palestine for how many years? So, of course, I mean, these people are brainwashed and, you know, using their own propaganda. I'm surprised. I mean, if the IDF or Israel sees my video or sees the video of these Israelis, I wonder how they're going to respond. Maybe they'll give him a medal, or maybe they'll be upset with him for speaking quite frankly. But we'll see how his other buddy, who's another soldier in the military, them sitting there with their big guns, what he's going to say in just a second.
But for that, why did they bomb you guys?
I don't know why, okay? Maybe something like a lot of years ago, but
you don't know the...
So Israel and their soldiers, the IDF, they don't know why Palestinians have been fighting against them in resistance. They have no idea. They have absolutely no idea, right? I mean, It's so absolutely delusional.
The information before Israel 1948, it was Palestine.
Yeah.
No, it's called Israel.
No, it was called Palestine before 1948.
Maybe it is.
And it's still it.
So the guy in the background, right? This guy is saying it was called Palestine before Israel came in 1948, right? And the guy in the background is saying, no, it was always called Israel, even though it wasn't always called Israel. And then the other guy, this other soldier, the one who's in the screen at the moment, he says, oh, well, maybe it was called Palestine.
Right now, it's occupied Palestine. Yes.
Yes.
I wish I did.
He said, right now it's occupied Palestine. And the guy even says, yep. Now listen to this is where the scumbag comes in. Listen to what he says. Listen to what he says.
Occupied Palestine. Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I did promoted them.
You hear that? He said, I wish IDF kills more children. The guy in the background says that. And then the other soldier, the one who's in the video, starts laughing. Can you believe that? This is the type of disgusting, vile people that we're dealing with. And then we have people in the West wondering why we're responding this way. This is the way they're brainwashed to think. They want to kill children. They're admitting to wanting to kill children. You understand that? And they're laughing about it. These disgusting people. Let's listen again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I did promoted them. And I wish the IDF funded. Okay?
You hear that? I wish, and this is the scumbag right here. He says, I wish the IDF kills more children. He didn't say he wished IDF kills Hamas. He didn't say, I wish the IDF kills terrorists or anything else. No, what did he say? Or I wish IDF and Israel kills Islamic Jihad or whatever other groups he wants to claim. He said, I wish IDF kills more children. And then he said, and I wish the IDF will come and find you and kill you. This is what he's saying. This is what their soldiers think. Just like I showed in the Tontura video, of even in their 90s, the people, the soldiers that participated in the Nakba, the catastrophe in 1948, some of them are still didn't have any remorse, and we're still laughing, calling themselves murderers and laughing. So these are the type of people we're dealing with. This isn't conspiratorial. He's saying it right here on a live video.
Why?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay?
Why?
Okay.
And he says, why? He responds, why? Why would you want the IDF to kill more children, and why do you want them to find me and kill me? Why? Now listen to his response. Because what?
I don't know.
Because you're Palestinian, you mother effer. So just because, and we're exposing that these people are racist. Netanyahu and their government and the Knesset, they're all a bunch of racist scumbags. And it filters down, the head of the snake, it filters down to their soldiers. They're laughing about this. Why do they deserve to be killed, Palestinian children? Why should the IDF kill them? Because they're Palestinian. They're fundamentally racist at its core. Do you see this? And look at this little scumbag laughing, thinking he's smart because he can talk through the phone. But then we see the pictures and videos of them. They're so scared and shook actually to go to battle. We see them having their soldiers, their commanders having to try to pull them out of their rooms to come out and actually fight. So they're big tough, they're all talk on the phone, and then, you know, they crap their pants when they have to actually go to battle and face people. But let's continue watching this terrible clip here. He said it's only Israel, no Palestine. And what?
And if you talk like again, I will shoot in your, okay?
Okay, and then he says some, you know, gay stuff there. I will, you know what? I'm not even going to repeat it. So, and we've seen a bunch of their Israeli IDF soldiers dancing around. You know, it seems like a rainbow party. You know, a bunch of people in the alphabet community looks like they've got it as soldiers. And we know Tel Aviv is the capital of all that stuff going on. So, but yeah, I'm not going to repeat that. It's just ironic that he wants to find a man and do that to another man. So, go figure.
She noticed that Michael had packed up all of his clothes.
Like again, I will do in your
Sick.
okay?
Wait, does he kill innocent Palestinians?
So he says, does he kill innocent Palestinians? Now listen to his response. Does he kill innocent Palestinians? Okay, that's what he asks him. Let me just make sure I go back here.
Does he kill innocent Palestinians?
I keep every Palestinian.
So every Palestinian you see, you kill.
Every Palestinian see, I just.
You see that? So he said, does he kill innocent Palestinians? And his response was, yes, every single Palestinian I see, I kill. You see that? Every single innocent Palestinian I kill. And he said he prays, he wishes that the IDF would kill more children. This is the people that are in their army, right? So I hope people understand that this is not just conspiracy theories. Why aren't they showing this on CNN? Is it Piers Morgan bringing this up? Why isn't it on BBC? Why isn't it on Fox News? Right? Why is it the case that they're not showing these clips in Western media? When Piers Morgan on Twitter, the other day, he posted a video of one of the supposed leaders of Hamas saying that he didn't want Israel to exist anymore and all these kind of things. Okay, why are you posting that and you say that's so terrifying and that's so disgusting? But yet you're not posting these videos when people are tagging you continuously all day long. It's clear bias. You're not some guy that's just sitting in the middle. Not at all. Shame on you, and shame on all of the other people that know about these videos but refuse to actually show them to their audience. They don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see Netanyahu calling the Palestinians Amalek and basically calling for genocide, as I pointed out. They don't want you to see the people in government saying death to Arabs, all Arabs. They don't want you to see the Israeli soldiers, IDF members, admitting that they want to murder all Palestinians and that they love and enjoy to kill innocent Palestinian children. That's what he said. So I hope everybody knows and understands, and this video is clear to the people. Once again, let's make dua for the Palestinian people. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would protect them.
Hi guys, I'm Sarah and I'm a coach here at Automatic Cash Cars, and I'm super excited to reach out to you today with a
They have finally reached me. YouTube came after me. I wasn't surprised. In one of my videos, I made it clear that some moderators were allegedly monitoring my channel because of my decision to stand up for what is right. Well, take a moment to like and share this video to let others see what the channel has become just for standing up to Israeli bullies. Hit the subscribe button to stay up to date about our next move. How on earth can anybody with the right mind condone the apparent commission of war crimes by an Israeli force deemed civilized? What everyone expected from Israel was civility and respect for human rights as it commenced its so-called war against Hamas in order to flush out Hamas as its claims. Yet what we saw was prehistoric and medieval barbarism that even the most ardent supporters have condemned. There are protests all over the world and people are calling for the right thing to be done. I am quite surprised that videos meant to show the true state of things in the conflict become the target of censorship. These social media giants know the power that wield try as much as they can to censor information meant to let the world understand the degeneration of the current Israeli government led by Benjamin Netanyahu. Yesterday was a normal day until I received a message from YouTube that my video was being age restricted. This is another word for censoring the video to ensure it's stuck in one place and doesn't reach a lot of people. I was surprised because there's nothing in the video, there's nothing that suggests that I have violated any rules. What I think I've done was my exposition of Israel's decision to continue the bombing of hospitals and then look for ways to justify it. My concern is not that Israel shouldn't go after Hamas. The issue is that they must do so without putting the lives of innocent people at risk. In one of my videos, I made the position of this channel clear. This channel's position is clear. Peace is the best option for Palestine, who should lead to a Palestinian state and the return of their lands. Hamas must urgently halt its operation for the sake of peace, and innocent lives on both sides must be protected at all costs. As a news analyst, I understand that Hamas doesn't represent all Palestinians, and it's wrong to blame innocent Palestinians for the actions of Hamas. I stand for peace and harmony, emphasizing the commonality between Arabs and Israelis who share a Semitic language and a belief in a single God. These shared characteristics should unite them more than divide them. We hope that the similarities will prevail over the differences. Yet, they came after me, an age-restricted one of my most popular videos on the channel. In fact, if I use the word Hezbollah or Hamas, the system would automatically restrict the video. This dangerous shadow banning is frightening. Why is it that those who preach freedom are themselves the arbiter of restricting justice? Why are these social media groups collaborating with Israel to silence truth for their own sake?
We are here next to a house of a terrorist.
Recently, a video of an Israeli soldier went viral worldwide. In the video, he was taking people on a tour of an alleged Hamas tunnel in Gaza. Without evidence, he claimed that the tunnel led to a hospital very close and to many residential areas. While no concrete evidence was presented for this, I was surprised that a military man would undertake such an exposition when there are many professional journalists who could have done it using an unbiased lens of news reportage.
We first saw the solar panels, then the electricity goes here, and it goes down directly to the tunnel. Now you can see the tunnel. You can see the tunnel. The tunnel is let down more than 20 meters down. The rowboat found a door that is bulletproof. It's explosive proof, so it looks like a hard evidence, a clear evidence that the hospital direction is connected. This is a covered tunnel. It's part of the same floor and it slides down here. So it's a covered tunnel so nobody can find it. This is Rantisi Hospital.
His friends and family believed that
And this is the place where I showed you the tunnel. I want you to see.
From the look of things, it was staged, and I can attest that a thorough investigation and evidence might reveal that the tunnel might not even be close to a hospital. This is not to exonerate Hamas, because just like the Israeli Defense Forces IDF, they can do anything to keep fighting. Yet the so-called civilized player in the conflict is against the so-called barbaric Hamas is acting even more dangerously belligerent than the worst of terrorists.
We are now in the area of the basement of the hospital. I want to show you a room where we found all the gear, the operational gear of Hamas. Hamas is using hospitals, like we showed the evidence in Shifa Hospital. In other hospitals, we are now seeing it in live in Rantisi Hospital.
They identify, justify, and target hospital. This is the hallmark of NATO military intervention in many parts of the world. We saw the same thing and justification in Iraq, Syria, and Yugoslavia. It is the same pattern, and the world powers show them with the self-defense mantra. Israel is the occupier and shouldn't be defending itself. Frankly, it should be repelled instead, and Palestine freed. The censorship cannot deter us. We will continue to move steadily and continue with our news project until the right thing is is done. Until we meet again, peace.
The reason why I played him because you need to get the other side of it to see what's really going on out there. And he's right that the media is only showing you what they want to show you, but they don't want to tell you the whole story. And man, but they did that to my video when I was, revealing the truth about white supremacy. They age restrict my video, and so I know how that feel. And it was telling the truth about I think it was about Jared Taylor, and they didn't want to see that or whatever. So, but I can tell guys that don't feel bad. They did me the same way, and it was the truth. Talk about how that they're white nationalists in America, and as white nationalists is expressing they want a white state. But here it is.
As owner of Mint Mobile, I always want to find ways to save you money. So let's meet the barely paid spokesperson for the new
peace treaty signed between Russia and Ukraine on 1 April that gave Ukraine all of its territory except Crimea. 400,000.
Now he's gonna give you insight
with Gaza, but I also want to talk to you about Ukraine. I don't know if anybody remembers Ukraine. We spent a few $100 billion on it, but it's disappeared from the news agenda, and I want to ask you why and what's happening there. But let's start with the Iwo Jima moment, or the Reichstag Soviet flag moment, when Israeli soldiers, having conquered the Al-Shifa hospital, climbed up onto the roof and planted their flag there. An ignominious moment, an ignominious end to a quite atrocious set of war crimes and crimes against humanity. At least that's how I see it. How about you?
Absolutely. The Israeli Defense Forces brought nothing but shame to it during the course of this entire campaign. Let's just be straight up honest. They were beaten in a stand-up fight on October 7th by Hamas, and they were humiliated. And that humiliation is carried over into this operation that's taking place. This operation has very little to do with actually trying to accomplish legitimate military objectives, and everything to do with exacting revenge on a helpless Palestinian people, because that's what Israel is up against. Hamas, after carrying out what I call the most successful military raid this century, because it wasn't an act of terrorism. What Hamas did on October 7th was a classic military raid with classic military objectives, and they accomplished them all. Then they withdrew to prepared positions. That's the final act of a raid. Their prepared positions happen to be underground, as they are wont to be if you want to survive with Israeli air supremacy, etc. And Israel has gone into Gaza knowing that they're not going to close with and destroy the Hamas enemy through firepower maneuver in classic military terms, that they're going to instead carry out collective punishment against the citizens of Gaza, the innocent Palestinian people. And they're not even hiding it now. In addition to these horrific visuals, I mean, raising the flag over a hospital. Really, look, I come from an organization whose defining moment is characterized by Marines raising the flag on Mount Suribachi. Of the 250 Marines that went up that mountain, 27 lived. 27 out of 250, because it was a real war. A real war. We earned the right to plant that flag on Mount Suribachi. These Israelis that put the flag above the Al-Shifa hospital, they should be ashamed of themselves. I hope that their pictures are taken, that their faces are recognized and broadcast around the world, so wherever they go to try and get somebody to buy them a beer for being a man, for raising the flag, instead people will spit in their face, because that's all they deserve. If they can walk out of Gaza alive, because this battle ain't over yet. Hamas is still there. There's a lot of fighting left. George, I don't want to sound like I'm glorifying war. I'm not. My ideal solution right now is a ceasefire that brings an end to this conflict. It gets the Israeli troops out of Gaza, gets peacekeeper troops in Gaza, and gets humanitarian supplies to the people that so desperately need it, so that the international community can begin the business of talking about how do we make sure that this never happens again. That should be everybody's priority. It should have been Israel's priority on October 8th. Not to say how do we exact revenge, but how do we prevent this from happening again? How do we prevent an October 7th from ever happening again? Because everything that's transpired since October 7th has turned international opinion away from Israel. Had Israel taken a different stance on October 8th, a stance that said, we understand why this happened, this is painful for us, but we need now to recognize that the Palestinian people have to have a homeland. The only way to disarm Hamas is to give the Palestinian people a homeland. And then Hamas loses its right, its need for militancy. But that's not what Israel's doing. They claim they're trying to defeat Hamas. But understand this, Hamas isn't just fighters to be killed. It's an idea. It's an ideology that has taken root now. If you wanted to kill Hamas, Israel, you're doing the exact worst thing, because Hamas now is being embraced by people who never would have embraced Hamas. The idea of Palestinian statehood is now mainstream like it's never been before.
Wow.
Mainstream like it's never been before. George, this is the greatest defeat Israel has ever suffered, and they don't know it yet.
How much revenge will satisfy Netanyahu? It's 11,000 dead now, 74.5% of them women, children, and elderly people. Is 22,000 dead? 52,000 dead? How many dead will it take to satisfy that thirst for revenge? Because you're right, they cannot, even Israel cannot kill 2.3 million people. Even our brain-dead politicians could not stand by whilst 2.3 million people were killed. So the killing is going to have to stop short of killing every Palestinian. The question is now, how far short?
Well, the problem is, George, and you know this, the Israeli government has been hijacked by literally this criminal right-wing element that is imbued with a notion of Israel that nobody in the world supports, nobody in the world can support. The notion of a greater Israel, and that's Israel, one that has no Palestinian people. You know, Hamas, and again, I understand, but is condemned for, you know, from the river to the sea, because people interpret that as anti-Semitic. You want to annihilate the Jewish population. But you know who invented it, George? You know who invented it. The Likud Party invented it. It's the original motto of the Likud Party. From the river to the sea, no Palestinians there will be. That's their theme. That's what they do. And now they have a government that is bringing this to life. So when you say how many, George, all. They want them all gone. Every single one of them. And they're not even hiding it now. These rabbis are preaching to the troops, saying, get them all, kill them all, get rid of them all. The Israeli government is talking about getting them all out of Gaza, driving them out somewhere. They don't care, because they don't view the Palestinians as humans. I mean, this is the worst aspect of what's going on here. Politics is tough. You know that. You're a politician. And sometimes people take hard stands and bad things are done. But this isn't politics, George. This is hate. This is pure, unadulterated hatred. And what kills me is no matter how you feel about Hamas, you have to understand that you can't embrace an action undertaken by Israel that dehumanizes an entire people. The Palestinians are not crying about the women. They're definitely not crying about the men. They don't care. They've hardened themselves to the point where they no longer view the Palestinians as humans. And as so long as your government and my government have this see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil approach about Israel, where Israel cannot be criticized, the killing will continue. The only way this stops is when our politicians demand that it stops. But we, so far, don't seem to have an upper limit, which speaks volumes about the people whom we have put in office. You know, we are democracies, George. We elect people to represent us. And if those people truly represent us, it doesn't say much about us collectively as Americans and British, because we're standing by. Yes, we fill the streets with people demonstrating, and I applaud everybody who went out to demonstrate. But we need to step it up. And I'm not talking about violence, George. I'm all in on the non-violent thing nowadays, because war only begets death and destruction. I've learned that hard lesson. I'm about not going to war. But we need to find a way to send a signal to these people. Where is corporate America? Where are the donors? Where are the people that give money to the politicians that get them into office? Why aren't they calling up? Why aren't we calling them saying, hey, you do a business that allows you to make money, to donate money to a politician? You don't do business anymore, pal, until you get on the phone and you say, stop the killing in Gaza. That's what we have to do. We have to stop it now. Every day we don't do this, George, you know what's going on. Hundreds of Palestinians are dying, but we stopped caring. Once you see those photographs, you become immune to those photographs, and that's what's happened. It's a bloodlust exhaustion where we have seen so much horror. It's filled our eyes and filled our minds that we become numb to it. We can't become numb to it. We should cry ourselves to sleep every night in shame, collective shame, about what's happening in our names, because this isn't an Israeli crime, George. This is an American crime. This is a British crime. This is a European crime. This is a global crime. Every human being on this planet is guilty of killing these people because we're not doing anything to stop them. The damn Arabs and Muslims met in Riyadh and didn't do a damn thing. Excuse my language. I apologize using French on your show, but they didn't do anything, George. Nothing. They talked. But when they had the chance to use the one weapon that could actually turn the tide, the oil weapon, they wouldn't even consider it, because money is more important than blood, apparently.
Well, that soliloquy will live long, I predict. Let me ask you to, if you will, segue to that war that everyone's now forgotten about, the one that completely dominated more than a year of our lives, filled all the information space, got people banned and suppressed and censored, and you and me among them. That war that was so important that we must impoverish our economies to influence the outcome, must pony up hundreds of billions of dollars to keep going. What's happened to that war?
Yeah, George, about a month ago I did an interview with a Ukrainian journalist. She's from the Donbass, but you know, she's ethnic Russian but Ukrainian, and a lot of connections with the Ukrainian community. And I told her straight up, I said, you do understand that no one in the West likes you. No one cares about you. That don't misinterpret our willingness to give you money and equipment and everything. All we're using you as is a tool to hurt Russia. But we don't care about the price you pay. We care nothing about you collectively or as a people. And when the time comes, we will drop you just like we drop everybody else. You know, for decades, we spoke about how important it was to be in Afghanistan. If we don't fight them over there, George, we have to fight them here. This is the most important. This is existential struggle. This defines who and what we are collectively. This fight in Afghanistan, then, bam, gone. Overnight, finished. We don't even talk about Afghanistan anymore, and we should, because of the horrors that we've inflicted on those people that continue to this day. But we've forgotten about them because we never really cared about them, George. We don't care about the Ukrainian people, and what's happened right now is we have found a brighter we just got distracted by the Israeli laser beam, and we ain't coming back to Ukraine. This was a losing proposition for a long time. Politically, it was difficult to acknowledge it, but now Israel has provided political cover for people to say, well, we have a bigger priority, especially in the United States. It's over for Ukraine, George. Now, when I say over, understand, and I point this out to everybody. You know, in World War II, the United States, we lost a lot of guys. Not any.
Here it is, the Vanish holster, the world's most comfortable holster. One thing to know is you don't need a belt with the Vanish holster because
I would say 62 Israeli military. You know, this soldier gotta fight, gotta go out there and fight. You gotta deal with that. So he thought it was funny to kill babies, huh? They're bringing it. They're bringing it. They're bringing it. That's just Hamas. That ain't including the other ones that's coming.
إننا في كتائب الشهيد عز الدين القسام وبعد 42 يوما من المعركة نؤكد على ما يلي. أولا، إن إنجازات مجاهدينا في الميدان هي قتل ضباط وجنود العدو وتدمير آلياته ومدرعاته. فمجاهدونا يلاحقون قوات العدو وآلياته من شارع لشارع ويلتفون خلف قواته ويسددون ضربات قاتلة ضدها فيجبرونها على التراجع في بعض المحاور وتغيير مسارات تحركها باستمرار. وإننا أعددنا أنفسنا لدفاع طويل ومستمر ومرن ومن كافة الاتجاهات.
They have eliminated 9 Israeli soldiers. See, and I wonder that's one of the soldiers that were laughing at the children, at those wanting bomb children. See, when you say stuff like that, it comes back on you. And see, Hamas ain't the only one they got to deal with. They have 2 or 3 groups of fighters that they fighting. They got Hezbollah fighting at one end. They have what they call Houthi rebels. They coming up fighting. They fighting. Israel is fighting all these different groups at one time. They fighting all these groups. This ain't no joke. And see, they coming in, and then you got Syria. So they made a war when attacked Syria, when the United States attacked Syria. So you got Syria launching missiles. You got the Houthi rebels launching missiles. You're going to have Hezbollah launching missiles. This is something, man. All this could have worked out, man. You know, but this is remember, Netanyahu wanted this. And here's the thing about it is that the area where they're at, did you see it was on the national news? 1 hostage just lost their life. They found 1 body, but they found the hostages. When they so probably the hostage that passed away probably was from the bomb. because they was allegedly saying that it was bombed without using no strategic.
Well, I see we meet again, Mess. Your tricks might intimidate a lesser everyday's here.
I'm playing a little bit of Al Jazeera.
This past week in Gaza, hospitals have been under attack. We're looking at Israeli propaganda. When it fails and effectively exposes the war crimes it is supposed to justify. Radical ideas on permanently displacing Gazans have moved from the Israeli fringe to the pages of the Wall Street Journal. And it can be lonely on the Israeli left. A journalist there on her life and work after October 7th. This past Wednesday, Israeli forces raided the biggest hospital in Gaza, Al-Shifa, after targeting other hospitals like Rantisi and Al-Quds. Under international humanitarian law, attacking a hospital is a war crime, unless you can prove that it is being used by your enemy as a tool of war, which is what the Israeli military has been claiming, and not just since October 7th, that Al-Shifa Hospital serves as a command center for Hamas, that patients there are being used as human shields. That has been Israel's justification for cutting off power and water to the hospitals, cutting short Palestinian lives, basically. However, when you examine the evidence that the Israeli military finally provided this past week, it comes up short. Some of it has bordered on the absurd. As a propaganda effort, it was an embarrassment. Also compromised in this operation are the news outlets, far too many of them, that have run with the Israeli version of this story for far too long. They too have some explaining to do.
IDF forces are carrying out a precise operation against Hamas in the Shifa hospital.
The Israeli propaganda machine has a reputation for being effective, at times sophisticated. Not anymore. After telling the world that a hospital, Al-Shifa, was Hamas's command center in Gaza, Israeli forces were finally on the inside, in a position to show us the evidence. And this was the best they could come up with. A few dozen guns.
These weapons have absolutely no business being inside a hospital.
What looks like some new body armor, apparently unused, with some branding conveniently splashed across it.
But it's Hamas, the military wing.
A laptop.
Already provides a lot of incriminating evidence.
And to show their humanitarian side, Israeli soldiers carted in incubators for babies to a hospital where they cannot work because Israel has cut off the electricity. Propaganda does not get much clumsier than this. It left Israel's critics unconvinced and had to leave its supporters mortified.
I can't imagine that anyone, let alone, an Israeli sitting at home who was anticipating this big reveal during the Al-Shifa hospital raid would be satisfied with what was found by the Israeli military. The expectation surrounding Shifa Hospital, presumably, and other hospitals in Gaza was that we were going to find major Hamas operations underneath these hospitals. But what the Israeli military was telling us and what it had been building up for weeks does not fit in with what quote-unquote evidence they have so far provided.
It is highly problematic that the Israeli military and Israeli leadership tend to create this alternative reality that if you know what's going on the ground, if you're talking with colleagues such as I am in Gaza, that you know that the messaging from the Israeli military and the Israeli leadership is false.
2 days before getting into Al-Shifa, the Israelis entered another hospital, Rantisi, where a man in uniform walked viewers through what they found. Daniel Hagari is a rear admiral, the chief spokesperson for the Israeli military.
Hamas used this hospital. Tonight we have entered into this building. I will show you the evidence.
He said that this document posted on the wall, written in Arabic, was a roster of Hamas fighters, proof of terrorists holed up at the hospital.
This is a Guardian list, where every terrorist writes his name, and every terrorist has his own shift, guarding the people that were here.
But it wasn't a roster with names on it. It was a calendar with days of the month. Still, the story was off and running.
אבל סביר להניח שמה שראינו בבית החולים רנטיסי קיים גם בעוד בתי חולים בעיר עזה והשיטה.
That kind of propaganda would be dangerous if it made it into the Israeli media and went no further. But that is not how it works, what it's designed for.
The IDF, Israeli Defense Force, has posted a video of what it claims is a walkthrough of a Hamas terrorist tunnel. The IDF spokesman, Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, has also revealed that he had proof that the basement of the hospital was being used by Hamas.
Die israelische Armee hat nach eigenen Angaben Beweise dafür vorgelegt, dass sich die Terrororganisation Hamas unter Krankenhäusern verschanzt.
Generally speaking, of course, there are exceptions. The Israeli media, certainly the TV channels, take whatever is distributed by the IDF as a proof.
And we have signs that they had hostages with them.
And this, I think, is unfortunate because I'm not saying that this is fake, but I think caution would demand Israeli journalists to say, this is what the IDF is saying. We cannot verify by ourselves.
The mere fact that this video was aired, was broadcast by these outlets, it shows that they accepted somehow as being truth. And it leaves the viewer with the responsibility of questioning the veracity of it. This is the responsibility of news media outlets, not to be parroting what spokespeople say, but to actually questioning it. Their job is to question power, not to give a platform to power to spew whatever lies it wants to.
We've seen a concerted campaign by the Israeli government and by the Israeli military targeting Gaza's hospitals.
The Shifa Hospital is the largest hospital in Gaza City, but it's also one of Hamas's headquarters.
And so we've seen these narratives that these hospitals are hotbeds of quote-unquote terrorist activity, and thus they are legitimate targets. And that sort of concerted media and propaganda campaign has led us to where we are now, where we see, the near complete collapse of Gaza's healthcare system.
Israel's claim that Hamas is using hospitals as command centers and patients as human shields goes all the way back to 2008. In the 15 years since, not a single piece of irrefutable evidence has been produced by the Israeli army to back that up. Good evening. What the Israelis have been drip-feeding to the media, rather than evidence, is their military's own intel, such as audio files that the army claims are Gazans saying that Hamas is using Al-Shifa Hospital as a base. Satellite images with locations marked in red that the Israelis say show Hamas infrastructure at hospitals, and an animation that the Israeli military produced which purports to show Hamas tunnels under Al-Shifa. Unlike Israeli news outlets, international ones tend to add a disclaimer that what Israel alleges in such cases is not verified.
The information that's coming out is both partisan and fragmentary, so we have
the part that too many of them leave out, that Israel has a track record of disinformation in Gaza, allegations that go unverified, that keep making it into the news cycle, spinning the story, and confusing audiences.
The information that is coming out of intelligence services should be treated with a lot of caution because we rely completely on them, especially in times of war, when this information is being used also to justify all kind of military operations. Journalists in Israel have learned from their own experience that the IDF spokesperson is, to say the least, not always telling the truth.
The Israeli military has claimed that there are Hamas tunnels under the hospitals. The problem with this is that it has never been independently verified. The director of Shifa Hospital said it's just lies.
The Israeli army spokesman is propagating false lies and fabricated reports.
Two Norwegian physicians, including Dr. Mads Gilbert, who've worked extensively in Al-Shifa, claim that there are no Hamas centers under the hospitals.
If it was a military command center, I would not work there.
And you would think, since hospitals are dedicated to serving patients, that if Hamas was building a vast network under the hospital, that the staff would object to this.
with disinformation, the whole point is to create confusion, to create a system and where you don't sympathize with Palestinians and that you don't want to see an end to this genocide. The point of disinformation is to make it so that Palestinians are to blame for the genocide that is being perpetrated against them. And no matter how much we see these lies being disproven,
I ain't gonna show that, man. It's a little kid. I can't show that, man. But yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into a topic that has been making headlines across the globe: the potential for conflict between the USA and Iran over Israel. With Iran's involvement in the Israel and Palestine conflict being a major point of contention, tensions have been on the rise. So the big question is, could this lead to a clash between the USA and Iran? Let's dig in. To understand the complexities of this situation, we need to look at the geopolitical dynamics at play. The United States has been a long-standing ally of Israel, providing support in various forms over the years. On the other hand, Iran has been a vocal critic of Israel and has supported groups like Hamas, which have been involved in the conflict with Israel. The Israel and Palestine conflict is a deeply rooted issue, marked by decades of tension, violence, and failed peace initiatives. With recent escalations in the region, the involvement of external powers, such as the USA and Iran, adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. The question of whether the USA would be willing to engage in military conflict with Iran over Israel has sparked intense debate and concern. It's crucial to recognize that the USA has strategic interests in the Middle East, and any potential conflict with Iran would have far-reaching implications. The region is home to vital oil reserves, and stability in this area is of paramount importance to the global economy. Furthermore, the USA's commitment to its allies in the region, including Israel, shapes its approach to addressing threats from Iran. On the other side, Iran's involvement in the conflicts across the Middle East, including its support for groups opposed to Israel, has been a point of contention with the USA and its allies. The ongoing nuclear discussions and the broader geopolitical maneuvering between the USA and Iran add further complexity to the situation. Stay tuned for the From Colonel Douglas Macgregor's interview, where he delves deeper into these issues. If you are interested in more insightful videos, hit the subscribe button and turn on the
Hold on. Let me give you an idea what's going on. It's right quick. This is Hezbollah. This is Hezbollah. Now they hit northern Israel now. "25 rockets fired back from Lebanon." So rockets land near settlements in Sassa and Shur. So they hit where the settlements is at. Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. IDF confirmed carry out airstrikes against Hezbollah facilities in Lebanon. So now they didn't declare war on Hezbollah. Paying tax. Hezbollah has intensified attacks on after the hospital operations. So they intensified. So let me do more attacks. See, when they target the hospital, this can happen. Showing you this. And hear what Al Jazeera said, right? And other people. Hamas denied it, that they didn't use their base as a command center. So basically, in a nutshell, Israel been lying. And so, you know, there's certain media that they have influence here in America. That they have. That's why they're not showing Western media. And so, and probably certain social media sites and Western media that they won't. You're not allowed to show. So that's the reason why I said, "What? How come?" It's because that's so they got the hands. But with all that's going on, you know, they have to. You got people wondering why we won't come out, particularly when it comes to black people, why we won't come out with this. But yet, you had an Israeli group attacking some people attacking us, but yet they won't say nothing about that. They worry about us as black people, but yet you got the whole different groups of faction of people coming at them. And here's the thing about this thing is that to some people, to Hamas and Hezbollah, these are the kind of individuals that take the Quran and see that it's jihad war. And now you have these other groups they call the Houthi, whatever, rebels out of Yemen. They firing missiles from Yemen. They're firing at Israel. They set up missiles from way down in Yemen up against Israel. With Netanyahu, it started basically a war, a holy war. Yeah. And one thing about these people, you know, you still know in the past, why would you want to deal with the people that they don't have no problem strapping a bomb and taking out people? You know, that's how serious that they are. And why would you go into it and not using common sense that if you bomb them without negotiations, trying to stiff arm them, you're going to end up taking out some hostages because Hamas is centered around the hostages. Why would you drop a bomb on the hospital? Then to come out, it wasn't even there. They didn't even know that they didn't know how to read Arabic. They said, "Oh, that's the they couldn't even read Arabic. It was the calendar." You dumb fool! Wow. So now this is gonna happen. So anyway, yeah. And Scott told you. And you heard they sell, and they think, and you have people making TikTok videos, them people dying. These people, you know, these people, man. This ain't gonna look good. And the thing about it is, they'll launch attacks in different parts of here and around the world. See, these Israelis need to think about that. Especially the ones the Zionists need to think about it. These people, they ain't got nothing to lose now. Ain't nothing holding them back now. They don't care to the point no more. Like they at a whole different level of fight. But anyway, sorry to make this video this long, but yeah, it's gonna get tense. It's gonna be pretty bad, ladies and gentlemen. And if we don't guard our border down there, that might be the next target. You know, I hope Biden administration need to get down there and help at the border, because you don't know who's coming to that border. They know about all the immigrants coming through the border. We don't know it could be another country. We don't know who it is. And one thing I was thinking today, some of them can manage to speak a secondary language. Some people can do that in order to blend in with the Latin Americans. Because we know that America see everything as, oh, that's just a bunch of brown people. And we don't know that could have been Hezbollah coming through the door. Or one of the counterparts. They need to think about this. Now it's coming to our shores. See, this a Biden administration don't understand this. This is probably what Scott and McGregor trying to tell you how the way they operate. This is how the way they operate over there. Listen to these. And they ain't gonna talk to them. The one guy he lived in Israel. Ritter. He was an inspector, so he know the operation, what they do over there. He know on both sides how the Israelis do and how the Palestinians do. You got McGregor. He sees things at a whole different top level, because he was a general in it. And you know, he's trying to tell, when you listen to the judge, and I forgot Napatano, I forgot his name is, and the other people, you need to really listen to them. And he's trying to tell he said, let's work this out a negotiable way. Let it be peace. Now they didn't disrupt the whole thing. You got all these groups is coming, and luckily Al Qaeda is holding back. Luckily they hold back. They ain't gonna get into this war, but luckily they hold back. Because remember when the United States was fighting over there against the Taliban. These are Taliban. They get involved, but they decide they want to get involved. Man, and they ain't forgot about that. They ain't forgot either. Man, they don't understand the way these people think. If you look at the history, they just keep coming. Then they brothers by the faith, brothers and sisters by the faith. You know, a Muslim they have a whole. They ain't like us, man. The Muslims, when they get tight, they tight. Especially them Arab countries, some of them are very tight. People don't really, man. If you look at how they move, man. And now you not only that, so you got Hamas, you had Hezbollah, you got this group out of Yemen, and then I think you got another fraction of another group is rising up out of Palestine. So you got about 5-6 people that they fight. They fight against Israel. Behind this stuff, what they did to the Palestinians. And then when they bombed that hospital, that set them off, man. But anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a nasty, man. Wow. But and then people on TikTok mocking their women and children. They don't know what they put themselves in danger in. They think that was funny. They put themselves in danger. Anyway, alright then, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. But yeah, I'm sorry being long, but I just wanted to get the whole, what the consequences came after them soldiers left, was saying what they said about bombing kids and babies. You heard it yourself. And now it's coming to them. They're bringing it. Hezbollah, Hamas, they bringing it. And the other ones bringing it. They bring it hard against Israel. and it might draw America into it. So pray for our soldiers, because no thanks to Netanyahu and Biden. Alright then, till next time, you guys be blessed. See you on the next video.